This is how we made $100,000 flipping a house. First step was to find the deal. So in order for you to find a deal, you have to reach out to real estate agents, wholesalers, any family members, or anyone really in your network that may be interested in selling their property or knows someone that is. I also forgot to mention that I think the best way to get deals is by doing your own marketing. So that could be cold calling, direct mail, door knocking, PPC, Facebook ads. The best way is for you to find these deals off market. That way you don't have to pay wholesalers, you don't have to pay agents, and you're direct to seller. Also, I wanted to let you guys know, if you want to see the day-to-day of this business, wholesaling, flipping, and real estate agent stuff, commercial properties, follow me on Instagram at Pablo Jr. And reach out to me, send me a message, let me know if you need help with anything or if you have any leads. All right, so back to the video. So this property we found through a wholesaler. We paid $162,000 for it. And then after closing costs and all the fees that came with it, it came up to like $170,000. Step number 2, you need to learn your repairs and ARV. So your repairs is basically how much is it going to cost to get this property up to 2024 standards or 2025 or whenever you watch this. And I'm not a contractor, and my background is not in construction, but the easiest way to get your repair numbers and get accurate repair numbers is basically go to local Facebook groups, go on Bigger Pockets, and try to find a reputable contractor, and then just pay him for his time to quote out the job. So I have a couple contractors, and I pay them $100 to come out with me to give me their numbers. So I always try to do my own numbers because I've done a handful of flips already, so I kind of know my numbers. But I want the reassurance from someone that does this every single day to give me my numbers to see if my numbers make sense. And if my numbers make sense and our numbers are kind of similar, then I'll just hire him to do the job. So it's kind of win-win for both of us. And plus, I don't want to waste anyone's time, so I actually pay for the contractor to come out and quote out the job for me. So that's how you get repairs. That's probably the easiest way to get repairs. And then you have to learn what your ARV is. So ARV stands for after repair value. In order for you to get an ARV, you have to do comparables. So to get comparables, it's basically just finding properties that are comparable to yours. So in order to find this, what I do is 0.5 mile radius, properties that sold in the last 3 months in a 0.5 mile radius with similar square footage, similar beds and bath, and similar build. That's super important, and similar build. And then all you need to do is find 3 properties and then get the average of the ARV, get the average price they sold, add them all up and divide it by 3. And you get roughly what your ARV is. Because you can't trust Zillow or Redfin, Realtor.com. You can't trust any of those websites. You have to do your own ARVs so you can figure out exactly what the property's worth. Because in reality, when you go to sell it, these properties need to appraise. The appraiser is literally just doing what I'm doing. He's looking for properties in that same little area that sold recently that are comparable, and then they appraise the property. So when I bought this house, my ARV was $240,000. I found a couple houses all in the area that sold from like $230,000, and then one on the low end, and then one that sold for around $250,000. So I put it in the middle, and I said, all right, if I fix this up and I make it nice, I can sell it for $240,000. Once you found the deals, you got the ARV, you got your repairs, now you have to run your numbers. So you have to figure out an offer and see what makes sense. Historically, everyone uses the 75% rule or the 70% rule, but I think in my market, I have to be more competitive, so I use the 80% rule. So the 80% rule is basically ARV minus 80% minus repairs. That's the offer I could give you. Once I make this offer, we get it under contract. I give the seller EMD. We send it over to the attorneys. We draft up the actual purchase and sales contract with the attorneys. And then now I have to fund the deal. So once you found the deal, you ran the numbers. Now what you need to do is lock the deal up. So in my state, in order to lock the deal up, you have to put a deposit down, which is called the EMD. So it's called earnest money deposit. So you put your deposit down and now you're ready to buy the property. And I know if you're a beginner, you probably don't have all the money to buy the property. So, and when I started, I didn't have all the money to buy the property either. So what you need to do is find a hard money lender, which is basically a company that lends money, and it's not based on your credit. It's not based on how much money you have, based on how good of a deal it is. So you have that. You could do hard money, or you could also do private money. Private money is better, but you need to know someone. It has to be, a personal relationship, someone that can lend you the money with favorable terms. So I don't have private money yet, and I am looking for private money. So I use hard money at this point. You don't want to use banks because they just take so long to close. I know some people build good relationship with banks and they're able to close. But with the hard money or private money lender, you could close in 2 weeks. So your offers are a lot better. Once you close on the property, now you own it. Now you got to do the renovations. Now, this is the hardest part because dealing with contractors is not easy. I'm going to show a couple of videos of the before and after. You can kind of see, but dealing with the contractors is probably the hardest part of this business, because if you don't set the frame and if you don't tell them exactly what you're expecting, then they're going to do what they want to do, and they're not the easiest people to deal with. So luckily I have some good contractors on my team now, and we have a good relationship, but that was super hard to do. So I would definitely really vet your contractors when you use them, because that could make or break the deal for you, because it could go over budget, it could take too long, you have a whole bunch of costs that you have cost on the money monthly. So if it takes some 3-4 extra months to finish your project, then that's roughly like probably 10K plus in cost that's affecting your bottom line, and then affecting your profit. So you have to be really careful of who you hire, because that's one of the most important things. And there's a lot of reasons why people don't like flipping, because they don't like dealing with contractors. But if you want to make some money, you have to deal with these problems. So once all the renovations are finished, now you have to sell the property. I'm a real estate agent, so I list the property myself, and then I go through all of that and I sell it, and I just disclose and I let them know I'm a owner in this property. But if you're not an agent, your next step is to hire an agent. And hiring an agent is important. You have to hire someone that's competent, someone that really understands what they're doing. They know how to price these properties. They know how to market the properties. Someone that can get you top dollar for it. I listed the property for $239,000, and we got offers at $245. We got offers at $250, and then I got an offer at $265,000, but with like $8,000 back to help the buyer close on it, for his closing costs. So we went with that one, and we just went through the whole process, and we closed it, and then we made a good amount of money. But I could easily end the video there, and then you think I made 100,000, but I didn't. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break down the entire thing for you, so you can see how this goes realistically, like how this actually goes. Yeah, so I'm basically documenting everything I'm doing on here. So I'm gonna show real numbers. That way, like if you're watching this and you want to get into this, at least you have like a realistic look of what it's gonna take or what the numbers look like. Because that was one thing when I watched YouTube and I was trying to get into this business, I couldn't find any realistic numbers. So let's get to the numbers.
Check I got, and I'm gonna put it right here. The check I got was for $98,000, and then since I'm an agent, I sold it. I made a couple $1,000. So total, it was over $100,000. But 100K is a better title. Flippers show these 100K checks, but that's not what they're making. That's not all profit. And then most of them lie because they want to sell you something. I'm gonna break the numbers down for you now. So let me explain. Let's go.
On HGTV, people have houses where they bought the house for $200,000, they put $50,000 into it, and they sold it for $300,000. And in the bottom, it says profit 50 grand.
All right, so we sold the property for $265,000. So we don't keep all that money. So first thing, we gotta pay back the hard money lender, which came out to $144,000. After that, we put a deposit on the initial property when we went to buy it. We had to put a deposit down for the hard money lender, which was $34,000, so we get that money back as well. Then we had about $7,000 in holding costs. And that's just like the interest. We pay 10% interest on the money every single month, plus all the utilities. So the heating bill, electric bill, and all those things. Material, we spent about $24,000. Roughly almost $25,000 with labor and material. Closing costs was $14,000. And then on top of that, we gave the seller a credit for $7,950. So the actual amount of profit we made was, total comes out to $33,155.03. That's the actual profit for this deal.